Welcome to it. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on S3, man. And we are excited. Mission Impossible 7, Dead Reckoning. It is here. We are full agent mode this morning. Yeah. Agent Nature Boy, good to see you.
I'm in the zone, man.
You guys have the posture and everything. I'm just like,
where's
what
your agent posture?
My Beavis and Butthead.
Also, what is your agent name?
Chill.
Oh,
you gotta have agent
it is
name today.
5 a.m. My Agent Sleepy. I suppose.
Agent Sleepy. All right, listen, but we are excited. We're excited to have you. Welcome, JP. Always good to have you.
Hello.
Are you excited
about one of the biggest movies of the year?
Oh, man, come on.
And you missed a tiny part of the title as well, is that this is Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay, okay, fine.
I mean,
let's get technical.
I mean, this is how crazy the size of this movie. Where does it go to next? I mean, they've been flirting with space.
I don't know how I feel about this, eh? Like, you go to cinema and you watch this movie and then it just ends and you're like, there's more. Now I'm going to wait another.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the feeling with like Fast and Furious X as
gosh.
feeling for some people with Spider-Verse as well? But
after 7, then you're like, okay,
forgive it.
Yeah.
It's like James Bond is on lot, like, 50.
The problem with this, though, is that you can't get over the man that's playing this agent in this movie. He doesn't age. He does all his own stunts.
27 years
Like,
that he's been eating.
He gets better and better.
And I think let's let him speak for himself. We've been blabbering over here, our agent Sleepy and Drowsy. Let's have a look at a clip of a featurette from Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible #7, Part 1, etc., etc. Yada, yada.
To shoot these stunts for Mission Impossible. With Tom, there are no limits, so we become a little bit more adventurous every time.
Tom's doing a sport very few people on this planet do. It's called speed flying.
It's a very beautiful and delicate sport.
But it also is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. While it may look similar, speed flying is not skydiving. Skydiving is fairly predictable. Speed flying is incredibly unpredictable.
It's a very small canopy racing down a mountain just feet off the ground.
Any sort of crosswind could have put Tom in peril.
We're gonna do spirals. And we're landing in an incredibly high speed, over 80 kilometers an hour. We've been training for a few years now. And we're always looking for what's the most dynamic way to shoot this.
Coming up with the stunt is only one of the technical challenges. The other is putting a camera in a place that you can see where Tom is operating the speedway.
You can't get close to this with a helicopter or a drone.
So we had to develop a gimbal system flying along with Tom. You had cameras hanging off of both sides being operated in a helicopter.
I mean, is he even human?
This remains to be seen. I think that's
You know what I'm
the
saying?
big reveal of Part 2.
I
Is
mean, he doesn't age.
rips off another mask behind the mask.
I know. It's just like, it's like, it's time.
The first one was 1996. We
mad.
use our marker as The Matrix was when cinema arrived.
Yeah.
When we were still using candles and it wasn't load shedding.
My biggest conundrum here is how much better he physically gets as he gets older. That goes against everything that we are used to know.
I think you could call it experience.
It's in a similar wheelhouse.
Benjamin Button of action movies, maybe?
For him, like, it's a mental state, a lot of it. Like, what's so weird is when you watch these interviews with his co-stars, they're like, they always come to this part where they're like, being with Tom Cruise instills confidence in you. Having him grab your hand feels like, I'm safe now. Like all of them have like Tom Cruise as a mental crutch. But look, the reason why I'm here is because I want to tell you, what point of Mission Impossible we're re-entering this universe. Yeah. Oh man, that word universe is so abused. Because like we were saying, I mean, this is basically like James Bond by now. It doesn't matter what the previous one was doing, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And this is precisely what the case is here.
Okay.
It's not the situation that you're finding, a villain returning from one of the previous ones or something like that.
Yeah.
So whereas, in this one of the previous ones we had Locke, who was, I think, Sean Harris was the name of the actor, but he was very, very good. Anyway, none of those oldies at return. We've got one of the new faces is Hayley Atwell, who you might remember from the Captain America movies. She was the a British character. And anyway, she made a turn in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as Captain Britain or something. Anyway, so she's the new face here. But otherwise, you see some of the regulars. You've got Ving Rhames, who is also there since day one, 27 years with Tom Cruise.
Unbelievable.
He plays in these regular characters, the hacker sort of dude. Simon Pegg makes a return. This is probably like, what, his fifth one or something like that. Yeah. Rebecca Ferguson, Lady Jessica Atreides, to some nerds around here. I'm looking at you. And yourself, the Dune nerds. And so, yeah, all the regulars. What is the story, however? And the story is, well, man, we're talking about an espionage movie here. We're talking about the sleight of hand movie. We're talking about, like, changing of briefcases. I can't tell you too much, but I will tell you that there's now a massive threat that obviously is, like, threatening all of humanity. And it's something that we actually live with in present day. I can't give away to you what that is.
Oh, wow.
But it's a new villain, and it's something that these IMF, which is what's the name? Impossible Mission for... No, Impossible Mission Fund. Yeah, I was like, what are they doing here? That's a silly joke they make in the movie, too. However, they've got to confront this new thing, which is something that we see all around us right now, too. There is a new villain who is the odd job guy to the villain, and he's pretty scary in his own right, but he is something from the way past. Not in any footage that you might remember from 1996-7. So a guy returns from Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt's character, before we know him as Ethan Hunt the spy. Now you have other forces that are bearing down on the situation. CIA is chasing the IMF because Tom Cruise is going too rogue as usual. Yeah. You know, Tom Cruise can get a bit crazy. So he's got that one chase on the one side, he's got the villains chasing him for another, but there's the secret key, the cipher, the sort of cryptic device that might reveal what this weapon is capable of, this global weapon that possibly threatens all of us even today. So it feels relevant. It feels relevant to some of the stuff that we're seeing in technology, et cetera, which we'll see in the next segment. However, what we do want to look at is the continuation of that featurette that we saw, where you can probably just die at 80 kilometers per hour. Doing speed flying is the very boring name for the death-defying thing that Tom Cruise does in Mission Impossible 7, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Here is Part 2 of the featurette. Calories.
Roll it.
And breathe.
That's one of the things of doing practical action. We are at the mercy of weather, and it's too dangerous.
The wind's dropping now, and it's only going to get better.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm ready.
Confirming you have picture now.
Picture's good.
3, 2, 1, action.
Tom is airborne. Tom is airborne.
Flying very close to rocks, it looks quite beautiful. Behind the scenes, we were all in absolute terror. Landing, Tom had to be flying towards the camera vehicle. That meant that Tom had to be or it can end in disaster. It is truly a one-of-a-kind adventure.
Oh my goodness. Can we just put this down that a lot of us go to work and sit in the office the entire day? I mean, this is his job, what we've just seen. And I think that is fantastic.
But while, you know, a lot of us have a history of thinking Tom Cruise can be a bit too extra, can be a bit too wild or whatever, I've had to come to the place where I'm like, I respect the dude. He really is an artist in... I feel like Tom Cruise is the kind of person, like someone told him the price of a movie ticket once and he was like, you pay what? For what? Okay, 5 more stunts, everyone.
Yeah.
So he does give a darn about making entertaining cinema, and I have great respect for him. That obviously all the stunts are his own. Some other stunts that you will see, and this is released in South Africa tomorrow, is one where they built their own train so that they could do a fight on top of the train with practical effects, no CG, no computers or anything like that. Then obviously there's the big bike stunt off the mountain too, which is one that they've been hyping so much.
I think that's one of the most viewed clips on social media at the moment.
Yeah, and probably the last clip for a lot of people to see, rush to the heart. So, tell you what, I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of the pros and cons tomorrow, however, with a review. That was just a teaser. Of
Looking
what's to come.
forward, my man. Thank you very much. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Why do I use my hands like the macho man?
Listen, so as you can imagine with Mission Impossible, there's going to be some incredible tech featured in the film as well. And we're about to connect with Grant Hines to run us through. And maybe we'll see some of that tech in the future. And we've also got tech of our own, because if I do this and I'll say, Graham, over to you. Watch. Graham, Agent.